quite the prayer. We always did the Lord's Prayer before all the games in the NFL. Should have flown you out to San Diego. That would have been a good deal. Before I get started, I got a special request from Mr. Tippy. I'm back getting my MBA now over at the Tippy College of Business, and right out of the gate they started us in statistics, business and analytics. And I was a history major. I've been kicking footballs for the last 9 years. When you kick football, they tell you not to think, and now they throw you in and you got to do all this statistical stuff. But the guy teaching this is an Austrian professor, and it's a bad combination because he also wrote the textbook. So you can understand about 1/5 of what he's saying. And I have no clue. He's talking binomial distributions and curves, all this different stuff. So you got to go over there and talk to him and let him know that you can let the old kicker slide through on this first class. Johannes the Dolphins is not good. But I'm honored to be back and be able to introduce Coach Ferentz. It's always a unique relationship, the relationship between the kicker and the head coach. I was lucky because I played 17 years of competitive football, high school, college, and NFL, and I only had 4 head coaches the whole time, which is probably rare. I had Marty Schottenheimer my first 6 years in the NFL, and North Turner my last 3, and Reese Morgan, who's now on the staff here at Iowa, was my head coach over at West Iowa, and of course Kirk here all 4 years. And it's a unique sort of relationship, and it's funny because I was lucky because all 4 of my head coaches knew absolutely nothing about kicking, which is a good thing. And Coach Ferentz, like the other 3, were great because they were smart enough to know what they didn't know, so they kind of left me over on the side to kind of do my thing. But to a T, every single one of them, when you first meet them, they always tell you what not to do from a previous story they had with some other kicker. So I just want to share with you a couple of those stories here today before Coach comes up. Marty Schottenheimer probably the best one. So we go out there. It's the first practice in San Diego. I got drafted in there. It's April. You go out in May. It's the first day. I'm out there warming up. We're doing a pre-practice kicking session. And after we get done, he grabs me. He goes, "Nate, come over. I got to tell you something. Coach, what's going on?" I'm a rookie, kind of wide-eyed. Don't really know what's going on. I got to tell you one quick thing about what not to do as a kicker. So I'm in Kansas City, head coach. The previous couple of years, I had a kicker of Eastern European descent. And there's this bizarre trend that was emerging in his kicking statistics. He was going out, and he had outstanding percentages the first half. But he would come out at halftime, and his percentages would slide 10 or 15%. He'd start missing in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. So they didn't really know what to think. And this trend had continued over a couple of years. So they started looking at all the different things and reasons why it might be happening. And one time, as he was coming out of the locker room 3/4 of the way through the season, the trend had kind of continued through this current season, and one of the equipment managers looked in his locker, and he had a big flask of vodka. He said, "Now, this is true. This is an honest to God, a true story." And he comes out, and then they started putting A and B together. He comes out, and the guy's drunk. He's missing his field goals in the third quarter, fourth quarter, because he's not seeing straight. He's been there drinking. And so Marty approached him. He's like, "Calms my nerves, coach." He's, "Well, it's obviously not working. You're missing everything you line up to kick." So then Marty says, I don't know anything about kicking, but I can tell you one thing, just don't get drunk at halftime. So that was the first tidbit information. I wish I knew the names. You guys could probably believe me, but it's a true story. And then sure enough, Marty is gone. Norv comes in. He grabs me one of the first times. We sit down our first meeting up in his office. He goes, "Nate, we'll be fine. You got to do everything except for this one thing." When I was down in Miami, I was the offensive coordinator. One of our kicker down there would always say he was going to the stadium to kick away from the practice field because he wanted to get work off of the dirt diamond because Miami shares, at that time, had shared their field with the baseball team. So I got to go over there and get used to kicking off the dirt. It's going to help me on game day. So they find out third or fourth week, it's early, the baseball season's still going on. The kicker says, "I got to go over here, coach, I'm going to get a few kicks off the dirt." One of Norv's friends tells him that they see the kicker, he's over at the driving range, close to the practice facility, working on his chipping and putting, hitting a few drivers and those sort of things. Whether he actually made it to the stadium, no one quite knows, but lo and behold, they go out that week, they get down to the end of the game, the ball's on the 8-yard line, the left hash, sure enough, the ball's going to be spotted on the infield of the dirt, the ball gets down, kicked, wide left. He misses. He's supposed to be over at the stadium working on his kicking, but he was over at the golf course doing his thing, so Norv says, "Nate, you're going to be fine. Just don't go to the driving range when you're supposed to be practicing." So don't get drunk at halftime, and don't go hitting golf balls when you're supposed to be practicing kicking. So these are the 2 things that they've used in their frame of reference for what not to do. I remember Coach Ferentz told me right away when I got in here, he had an experience with an old NFL kicker who was just running his mouth too much. I think he was like the union rep, and he was giving people, stock tips and marital advice and all that. He just said, Nate, you're going to be fine. Just kind of be seen and not hurt. Okay, just kickers need to be off in the back and just put the ball through the uprights and everything's going to be fine. So that's what when I work at these kicking camps now. That's what I'll tell all my kids is just don't talk, don't get drunk at halftime, don't go kick football, don't go golfing when you're supposed to be practicing. But they were all great, and it was great. It was fun to play for the different sort of head coaches, and great to obviously play for Kirk. And another good rule of thumb as a kicker that you get good at as well is after you miss, and you're down the field, you get up, it takes maybe 2 or 3 seconds to kind of get oriented. Oh man, the ball didn't go through the uprights. It kind of sinks in, and the first thing you do is you look towards the sideline. You find out where the head coach is standing, and then you walk about 30 yards away from him down the field. My freshman, sophomore year, I missed quite a few field goals, and I got pretty good at that skill. And it was sort of this inverse relationship of, the closer you get, the closer the misses, the further away from the coach you got to go when you're going off to the sideline. But no, Kirk's great. I've said it time and time again. He's an outstanding representative of this university, this state. I was blessed to be able to come here and play for him. It's funny, you go in the NFL and you hear a bunch of different guys talk about their college experiences, and some of them, quite a few of them had negative ones. They just felt like they came in, there wasn't really much of an attachment with the school, they weren't really mentored or anything. And that's the thing that Coach does here. He teaches the kids how to play football the right way, but also how to be good people and good men. And I'm blessed to play for him, and look forward to many more great years. And glad to be back here in Iowa City so we can watch it firsthand. Your head coach, Coach Ferentz.